A very warm welcome to you all. Today we're diving into something really foundational, the first 10 verses of Surah Al-Mā'idah. These opening verses, they're like an incredible blueprint. They lay out the entire groundwork for law, for morality, and for faith in a way that just echoes through the rest of the chapter. So the whole surah kicks off with this incredibly powerful command: fulfill all contracts. And when it says contracts, or al-uqud in Arabic, it's not just talking about business deals. Nope. It means every covenant, every commitment, every promise, the one you have with God and the ones you have with each other. This one line, honestly, it's the key that unlocks everything else.
All right, let's get into that. What does it actually mean to uphold this huge, all-encompassing covenant? Well, as we're about to see, the chapter doesn't waste any time. It immediately starts unpacking this master principle into a practical guide for everyday life.
And that's the big question, right? If you're told to fulfill your contracts, you kind of need to know what's in them. And as we'll see, the scope is just massive. It touches on pretty much every part of how a community is supposed to work. See, this is so much more than just a list of spiritual to-dos. It's a really detailed framework for building a society that's both cohesive and just. And you see that right away. The verses start laying out rules for what to eat, for how to stay pure, for social justice, and it shows how all these things are connected parts of this one unified agreement. So let's explore how this covenant really shapes the basics of daily life. The first thing it gets into is something we all do every single day: eating. But this isn't just about food. It's about drawing a clear line between what is pure and what isn't, both physically and, spiritually. Verse 3 gets incredibly specific here. It's not just about what you can't eat, like pork or blood. It's also about how an animal dies. Things like being strangled or killed by a violent blow, that makes an otherwise lawful animal forbidden. It really emphasizes this deep respect for life and a specific, more humane way of doing things. But what's amazing is that in the very same verse that gives these strict rules, it immediately gives you an out. And this shows a core principle in Islamic law: mercy. If someone is literally starving, if they're forced by necessity, they're allowed to eat from the forbidden list just to survive, as long as they're not, actively trying to bend the rules. Okay, so after telling us what's off limits, the text clarifies what is okay. It gives this broad, beautiful category of al-tayyibat, which just means all things that are good and pure. It also allows game caught by trained animals, like hunting dogs or falcons, as long as God's name is mentioned over it. And then, and this is a big one, it makes the food of the people of the book lawful for Muslims. Just so we're all on the same page, when the Quran talks about the people of the book, it's referring to those communities who received scripture before Islam, so specifically Jews and Christians. This term is absolutely key to understanding the rules for social interaction that the surah is setting up. And this permission, it goes way beyond just sharing a meal. The verses actually permit Muslim men to marry chaste women from the people of the book. But it's very clear. This has to be a real marriage, a formal contract with a dowry, not some casual or secret thing. This was a huge deal socially, creating a clear pathway for these communities to connect and live together. And from here, the blueprint shifts a little. It moves from our outward actions, like what we eat and who we marry, to our inner state. See, this covenant is deeply concerned with purity and sincerity, making sure our intentions are as clean as our actions. The Quran uses such a powerful image for this. It warns believers, hey, don't cancel out your charity by bragging about it or making the person you helped feel bad. Charity done for show is compared to dust on a smooth rock. One heavy rain, and it's all washed away. Nothing left. The act becomes spiritually empty. Now, this whole theme of purity gets a physical expression through a ritual called wudu, or ablution. It's this act of washing that prepares both your body and your mind to stand before God in prayer. And verse 6 lays out the specific steps for this washing, telling you exactly what to do. But it also gives you an alternative, using clean earth for a dry ablution if you can't find water, which again just shows that flexibility and ease are built right into the faith. And the verse tells you the why, right there. The goal isn't to make life hard. The whole purpose of these rules and rituals is purification. It's to cleanse believers inside and out and to complete God's favor on them so that maybe they can be grateful. It's a beautiful mission statement. So this is where the blueprint really expands. It's been building from these personal acts of piety,
like charity and prayer, and now it scales up to a universal standard for the entire community. And the highest point of that standard? Absolute justice. The command in verse 8 is, well, it's uncompromising. Believers have to be people who stand firmly for God, who act as witnesses to justice. This isn't just a nice suggestion, it's a core part of being a believer. It means you uphold what's right all the time, no matter what.
And then comes the ultimate test of that principle. You know, it's easy to be fair to your friends, but the Quran says, hold on, don't let your hatred for any group of people stop you from being just. It says, be just. That is closer to righteousness. You have to be just, even to your enemies, because justice itself is the goal. Wow.
So finally, these first 10 verses wrap up by spelling out the ultimate consequences. After setting out all the terms of the covenant, the rules for food, for worship, for justice, the text gives us a very clear choice and shows us the outcome of that choice.
The final 2 verses here present this really stark contrast. It's a fork in the road. On one side, God has promised those who believe and do good deeds, like fulfilling their promises and being just, that they'll get forgiveness and a great reward. But on the other side, those who disbelieve and reject these signs, well, they're set to be companions of the fire. It's a powerful reminder of what's at stake.
And that leaves us with a final thought to really reflect on. It's amazing how these verses just seamlessly connect what you eat, how you pray, and how you treat even your worst enemy, all under this one single idea: fulfilling a covenant. It really makes you think, how are all these different parts of my life woven together to create a single, whole blueprint for a truly just and God-conscious existence?